What's up everyone, Alex here. When a game occupies some real estate in my brain for a long period of time, I know that it's something that I just have to talk about. Trials of Mana, a game that I finished multiple times back in December, is a fantastic example of that. So after 2+ weeks of not talking about Falcom's Kuro no Kiseki in any form on this channel, imagine my surprise when, after speaking to a friend about the game at length, that I'm actually really super excited about it. Speaking of, if you like JRPGs, Japanese games, or niche titles like I do, please leave a like, comment, then subscribe to my channel. Please keep in mind that I will not be going over any elements of the game's story in this video. Instead, I want you to watch this small snippet of gameplay before we dive in. What? Did it just switch from action to turn-based combat on the fly? You betcha! Kuro no Kiseki is the first game in the Trail series to blend both action and turn-based gameplay all in one game. The way this system works is actually pretty interesting. As with previous Trails games, you'll see all of the monsters out and about on the field. You can choose to avoid them per usual, of course. However, in order to engage them in battle, you'll have to target an enemy with R3, which will let you attack them in action mode. In this mode, you can press the circle button to attack, X to dodge, and triangle to open up a menu. You can also press square to deploy shards, though it's not yet known how this functions during battle. While it's not actually shown in the footage, other members will act on their own during this mode, and you can freely switch party members by pressing the L1 button. Kuro no Kiseki's action mode adapts the weapon affinity systems found in Ys, where enemies will be weak to specific kinds of weapons. This forces players to switch between characters to maximize the damage they're dealing. Another thing I noticed while watching the footage was that an action gauge was filling up every time you hit your opponents with an attack. And when the gauge filled up, Agnes, the caster, unleashed a powerful attack to end the battle. This action gauge is shared by the entire party and does not reset when battles are finished. Enemies also seem to have their own action gauges, though their purpose is yet unknown. Notably absent are arts and crafts, which were removed from this mode in order to retain the fast-paced feel of the combat. Generally speaking, Falcom intends for Kuro's action combat to be used when clearing easier enemies on the field, while at the same time encouraging players to use the game's command mode in order to engage with the game's more powerful enemies. How do you switch from action mode to command mode then? This is all done by deploying a combat orbment called Sypha, which will immediately pause the real-time action and completely change the user interface. While it's unclear how to do this as of this time, the footage shown depicts a smooth transition from real-time combat to turn-based. While in command mode, Kuro no Kiseki will play very much like any Trails game before it, albeit with a few key changes. For starters, you may now freely move your character around the field without limitations or wasting turns. This small change has a ton of implications for the battle system, and Falcom has noted that there will be changes to the effective range of the game's various arts and crafts to help balance this out. That said, the freedom of being able to move your character around the field is given more importance when you consider that Kuro no Kiseki will now grant you special perks based on each character's proximity to one another. Called SCLM Chains, this new feature will trigger special events to happen based on party members' relative positioning, such as allowing for additional follow-up attacks and being able to shield someone else from harm. This is very different from the combat links from previous games in that you no longer have to set these at all prior to battle. A big addition prompted by the game's freedom of movement is that certain enemies will now have a weak spot, which includes its sides and rear, and that the game will show the weak indicator if your character is positioned at said location. Another new feature that was highlighted is the S-Boost, which can give you a buff once the meter is filled. An example that was given was the ability to reduce incoming enemy attack damage. Falcom also noted that damage dealt while in command mode is higher to compensate for the lack of fast combos, which implies that the company is looking very closely at the game's damage numbers to make sure that both modes are balanced fairly from multiple perspectives. Lastly, due to the fast-paced nature of being able to jump from one battle to the next, victory quotes will no longer be seen. So let's recap. Battles are now started in action mode simply by targeting an enemy and attacking them, and dropping the Sypha Orbment switches it to command mode. Conversely, retrieving this orbment will reactivate action mode. Changes to damage output in both systems are in place to make sure that both are balanced as well as possible, though Falcom recommends clearing easier enemies with action mode and using command mode for tougher bosses. This is exciting to me. While there have been attempts from developers to let players have a choice of engaging in either real-time or turn-based combat, Dragon Age Inquisition comes to mind. I don't think there's ever been a game that's truly captured and represented the essence of both gameplay systems before. Falcom is uniquely positioned to fulfill this ambitious goal. By infusing Kuro no Kiseki with Ys action combat and retaining Trail's deep command-based gameplay, players will be getting the best of both worlds. And while the jury's still out on whether Kuro no Kiseki will achieve this, I'm just super happy that Falcom is taking such a huge stab at this. I've longed to have conversations about Falcom that didn't just involve how to get into Trails or Ys. And with this shakeup in gameplay, I am hoping that this brings even more people into the series. We'll know for sure when the game comes out in the West, I'm guessing in 2023, if it follows the series' Western release patterns. We talked a lot about how this system works, but I am curious, what do you think of Kuro no Kiseki's combat? Are you a fan of Ys? Trails? What does all this mean to you if you're a fan of both? Post your thoughts in the comments below, and leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. I also want to thank Discord members Delta and Rowan for helping me with compiling all the info you've seen here, as well as Flan for helping me come up with a good title for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.